Good morning, class. Welcome to what you have in your schedule as GTT, or Gateway to Technology. Well, I'll be honest, the real name of this class is Green Architecture. Green Architecture is one of about 11 classes that fall under the category of GTT. Now, you guys may have had this class at WIS. It is now offered as a 6th grade class at WIS GTT, but it's called Design and Modeling. So this is another installment in the Project Lead the Way GTT series of courses. And for those that don't know me, if you're working with me virtually this year, hello, I am Mr. Kushel. To give you a little bit about me, this is, let me think now, my 9th year teaching here in Waseca. Green Architecture is now in its 2nd year as a class for 8th grade students. I teach several classes in the industrial technology area. They're all what we call Project Lead the Way, or PLTW courses. And we'll get into that in a little bit. I'm going to move my picture a little bit so you can see a little more of my screen. And we'll get into a little bit more of what our course is all about. So again, for those of you working virtually this trimester, welcome. You'll see me in videos from time to time. We'll do a Zoom or a Google Meet video once a week if you're a distance learner, just to keep you on track with the rest of us. For the rest, you'll see me twice a week, the way it sounds. So let's move on here a little bit. If I get to my right screen here. So what is PLTW? PLTW stands for Project Lead the Way. What is PLTW? Well, it's what we call the STEM leader in education. STEM, perhaps you know that, stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. Basically, I like to look at it this way. It's the application of all of those things. It applies math and science concepts, and then it utilizes many facets of technology to engage students to learn about engineering. Your course will learn a little bit about what engineers do and also about what architects do. What we do is we strengthen the concepts you've learned in your math and science classes in Project Lead the Way by applying it to hands-on projects. All right, what else does PLTW do? Well, they do a biomedical strand of classes and a computer science strand of classes. Mr. Pop down in our math department actually teaches a computer science class that will be available to you as a high school student next year. A little bit more about it. We call Project Lead the Way as activity, project, and problem-based learning. So we'll do some things to teach you some basic concepts. We'll do some projects, and if we have time, we're going to do an open-ended problem-based activity at the end. As we look at Project Lead the Way a little bit, I have kind of a pyramid here. We're down here at the bottom of the pyramid, kind of a foundational course. Like I said, there's 11 different GTT courses that are offered. Yours is one of those 11. If you like what we're doing, I have more opportunities for you. As a freshman, you can take a class called Intro to Engineering. We call it IED. You could also take POE as a junior, a sophomore, junior, or senior. Principles of Engineering. We also offer a class here called CEA, Civil Engineering and Architecture. I like to think of CEA as like the big brother to the class that you are going to be a part of. We'll talk a little bit about something called the design process as well as we go through our time together. Green Architecture, we're going to do some fun things here. My goal is we'll be able to build a scale model of a little shed. We'll do some work with a CAD program to design a house, those types of things. We have a little video here that actually was part of the beginning of the module. I'm not going to play that here because you should have watched this at the very top of our module. It's about a 4-minute video to kind of give you an overview or an insight into what is green architecture anyways. If you missed that, you can go ahead and play this as you walk through each step of the PowerPoint, or better yet, go to the top of the module and you can play that video. I always like to give a little bit of a welcome. I'm going to move my face around again here. A little bit of a welcome to our Industrial Technology Department. Sorry, got button happy there. We have several classes. You're in the GTT portion of things, but we've got several other Project Lead the Way classes that we've talked about. We also offer Woods classes. Mr. Janicki teaches most of those. I occasionally get to teach a Woods class. I taught one last year. I don't get to do that this year. That was kind of my strength when I started was Woods, and I've moved into more of the Project Lead the Way, the engineering courses now. We also offer electronics class with Mr. Janicki and welding with Mr. Janicki as well. All right, I always like to ask the question, why industrial technology for you? Well, there's several reasons. Why do we get to take the class? Well, as we talk about those types of things, we are in an area that really focuses heavily on careers. Careers that will give you good jobs when you get out of school. And it could be anything from engineers we're talking about, a construction manager, an architect. You could be a welder. You could be a wood construction type of a person. There's a lot of things we can teach you down here. We can get you led into things like electronics. If you want to be a designer, we have different types of design classes that you could be interested in. So what will I learn? Well, in my class, in this one, you're going to learn a lot about architecture, what goes into designing and building houses. You'll get to learn about why we do things the way we do, a little bit about going green. Hopefully you've heard that phrase. What does it mean to go green? In a nutshell, it's being more environmentally conscious as we build and do things in our world. You'll ask, maybe hopefully ask the question, what is an engineer? Is it someone that drives a train down the track or something more? Well, we're going to learn a little bit more about engineers. What do engineers do? We'll get to learn a little bit more about that as we go. Our course, Green Architecture, is going to tie most closely with a civil engineer. And we can talk about more of those things as we go on. You'll learn about design and building and going green. Okay, we mentioned green already. Again, being environmentally conscious. Let's see here. Let's move on. Next slide. Come on, Kushal, work with it here. All right. My slides are all over the place. So why industrial technology for you? You're going to get to use a CAD program. We're going to try something new this year. Perhaps some of you have used Google SketchUp or dabbled with that a little bit. Our design work this year, we're going to deal with a program called Google SketchUp. We'll learn how to design a floor plan for a house. If you look at our picture right here, that is a floor plan for a house. Actually, it's one that I designed. But that's a floor plan for a house that's been done in a CAD program. CAD simply stands for Computer Aided Design. Some people call it Computer Aided Drafting. Okay, so you'll learn about that. You'll also learn how to build a scale size wall or shed. We've got a picture of the entire shed here. Depends on the time that we can do with our new learning model, whether we can do the entire thing or whether we have to do just a wall. But we'll dabble into that later in the trimester. All right. Classroom procedures. For those of you that are in my class, I'll go through these. If you are doing distance learning, obviously these don't apply to you so much. But if you are a in-person learner, and I hope that we can stay that way and hopefully get to 100% face-to-face at some point this year. But when you arrive, find your seat and look up to find out what you are to begin working on. If you look behind me, kind of over my shoulder right there, my finger's kind of weird, that little grid on the board, if you look at the front of my classroom, you're going to see that grid, and I'll have things written in there for each of my classes, and that will tell you what you need to be working on, what you need to be turning in, what our goals are for the day. All right, moving on. If you need to do restroom breaks, I would ask you to do that during passing time. I would ask you, don't even ask for a bathroom break the first 10 minutes of class. That's where we need to get started and get everyone going in the same direction. We know the policies as far as school goes. Planners, you have to have your planner, and we'll have to sign that for you to leave. Don't wait by the door at the end of the hour. You must be in your seats. I will dismiss you when it's time to leave. Chairs need to be pushed in. Other students will be coming in. One of the other things I don't have on here, but the new procedures for this year, we have hand sanitizer by the door. You'll sanitize when you come in. You'll sanitize when you go out. Just like if you've ever visited someone in a hospital, sanitize in, sanitize out. Try and minimize the germs in our school that way. If you need to bring a water bottle to class, that's fine, but never on the desk by the computers. Please keep them on the floor. Everyone helps clean up at the end of the hour. We will be doing some projects. We'll be moving around the room. We'll be in the lab area of my room as well as up here in the classroom. So everyone needs to help clean up. My expectation is that you come prepared every day. Bring your notebook and a pencil every day. I will provide you with a special notebook for our class. It has graph paper in it that will help you with some of the things that we'll be doing. If you need to go back to your locker to get items, you will be marked tardy if you're not in class before the bell rings. Most of your items, I believe this year, we're carrying in backpacks, so hopefully that shouldn't be an issue. No cell phones during class. Please keep them in your backpack. If I see them, I take them. Please show respect. Raise your hand if and when you have a question. Don't talk while others are talking, and use clean and appropriate language. I'm not going to swear at you. Please don't use that kind of language in my classroom either. Your attendance is important. Be here on time and be seated when the bell rings. If you are not seated, guess what? You are tardy. School tardy policies will be enforced. You get 3 free. After that, you know the game. You've been in the building before. Detention. ISS after 6 tardies. If you will be late, bring a pass, even if you're talking to another teacher. They know the game just like you do. All right, discipline procedures. I don't like to talk about this, but we have to. I'll give you a verbal warning. If you're doing something you shouldn't, I'll remind you. Okay. Second offense, I'll send you out of the classroom. You can be in the hallway, and we'll talk after class. Third one, we will send you to the office, and we'll have to write you up. Get mommy and daddy involved in this. Get the principal involved. No fun for anyone. Let's not go there. All right, classroom grading. A lot of your work will be able to be completed during class if you make good use of your class time. However, there will be some days where you'll have to do some homework. Please do the work. It will help you the next day and the next week and the next month of our class. If you don't do the work, you can't learn. If you miss a class, it's your responsibility to find out what you've missed. You'll have 1 week to make up missed work. All right? Emails are a big part of this, especially this year. Communicate via email. Email through Schoology, email through the Gmail system at school. And please, as a reminder, check that daily. All assignments must be completed on time. If you are unable to turn in something on time, it is your responsibility to communicate that with me, Mr. Kushel. Late work will not be given full credit if you have not communicated with me. I would like to work with you. Okay, so just communicate with me, please. All right, let's take a look at your syllabus. If you're in class, I've handed that to you. If you are an online learner, you'll see it on the next 2 slides. You can download that in Schoology. These are our goals and objectives for green architecture. I would ask you to have this signed and brought back to me. If you're an in-person learner, have it to me by the 18th, which is the second Friday of school. It's worth 10 points. You can either give it to me or turn it in during class, or you can email it to me. Either way is acceptable. Our syllabus gives you a course description. Okay, just a quick overview on that. The class is 1 trimester, taught to 8th grade students. And just a little information on green architecture. This class is designed for 6th, 7th, or 8th grade students. So guess what? All of you are well qualified. It's within your learning wheelhouse to do these things. So I'm going to teach it to just 8th graders. That's how we do it here in Waseca. You have choices you've grown up in an age of green choices. In green architecture, you will learn how to apply this concept to the fields of architecture and construction by exploring dimensioning, measuring, and architectural sustainability as you design affordable housing units. You will use tools such as an engineering design process, an engineering notebook, architect scales and templates, and Google SketchUp software to learn, invent, and innovate. You will learn how to create to how to use creative thinking and problem solving and how that can change your world. So just a brief overview of this, the course outline. The first part we're going to do is dealing with architectural basics. Learn the basics about architectural design, such things as feasibility, cost, function, aesthetics, which basically means beauty, how to use an architectural scale and measure accurately, learn about planning, residential spaces, learn how to read symbols on an architectural drawing, and learn how to use materials to remain within a given budget. Section 2, Lesson 2, gets into sustainable architecture. That's the green portion of our class. We'll learn about sustainable architecture. We'll learn about important lifestyle decisions that could impact our life and our environment, and learn how going green can minimize the negative environmental impact. And then the third part of our class, an architectural challenge, we're going to learn to use Google SketchUp to develop high-quality, accurate architectural designs, and we'll hopefully build a balsa model and design with sustainable features in mind. Second part of the syllabus, classroom procedures. I've pretty much gone through that already, so I'm not going to go over that again. However, the next portion, how are you graded in my class? Well, your daily work, the assignments I give you are worth 20% of your grade. Tests and quizzes are worth 30% of your grade. And finally, projects will have 3 or 4 of them. That's 50% of your grade. That's where we apply what we've been learning. Okay. Resources, things you'll need. An engineering notebook. I will give this to you. If you lose it, you can purchase a replacement for $2. Please bring a pencil to class every day. I believe that a mechanical pencil works the best. However, if you like the traditional pencils, I do have a pencil grinder in the classroom that you can use, but mechanical pencils work so much better because then you're not always having to sharpen your pencil. And it's hard to make good, accurate sketches if you have a dull pencil. You'll need an eraser. What I like to use is the white, I call them a white high polymer eraser. If you look at what I've got in my hand here, these little white erasers, okay, those by far work the best. They don't smudge or rip your paper. So if you're going to buy them, Walmart has them, 3 of them for $1.50, $1.60, something like that. So get them and share them with each other and share the cost, that type of thing. You also need a folder to keep your materials organized because I'm going to give you a lot of handouts and you will need to keep them organized. Also, because you'll be working with your Chromebook and a CAD program, you'll need to have a wireless mouse. So please do yourself a favor. This will help you in other classes too. A mere $10 at Walmart. Well worth getting that. Reminder, it's due on the 18th of September, so get that syllabus back to me. Either email it to me or give it to me in person. All right, for day 2, make sure you have your Chromebook with you, and don't forget, have it charged so it's ready to go. Thanks, and we'll see you tomorrow.